Hello, love. I'm not exactly sure how to start this one. This is going to be a series of informative, clarifying. I'm hearing the phrase truth saying. You know how we use the term soothsaying, except I'm hearing truth saying messages, some of which will not be shared publicly, leaving you to your own devices to open up the portal of your own imagination, consciousness, and truth, inner knowing, in order to find your way. I am working with the energies of an entirely new being, entity, spirit, call it what you will, here for our highest and greatest good, and in our highest and greatest truth of the ELSH collective, Empaths, Lightworkers, Starseeds and Healers, awakened and awakening souls. This particular being very much carries the energy of the High Priestess. This is a divine feminine energy associated with Lemuria and Atlantis. And specifically what she told me, I've written it down here. A cosmic energy guide connected to the cosmic realm of Lemuria, the lineage and timeline of Lemuria that quote-unquote survived in terms of consciousness, thought form, and in the ethereal. Right at the beginning of this message, I heard her phrase, "Don't get carried away." And I asked the question, what do we need to hear most right now for this confirmation message? And I heard, "Don't get carried away." And of course I asked, well, what do we mean by that, right? I heard getting down to business. This meaning doing the earth work. I heard the word embodiment and being present in the 3D in your power. And then I heard her say Ashe-Asha, which I feel like is a name that is connected to her, but she's saying that that's actually irrelevant right now. It's the principles of Ashe, as we understand it according to the ancient Yoruba religion, that's indigenous to southwestern Nigeria and southern Benin, okay? This idea of word, this is a word of authority or power, and I'm actually being called to link a video where this is explained really beautifully in the description box, which essentially can be translated. One of the ways it's translated is very similar to Amin or Amen. So shall it be. It's an affirmation, and she's really focusing on that particular energy of affirmation, affirming something, affirming your existence here on earth, affirming your existence and incarnation in the third dimension, in the 3D realm, and not getting carried away, getting down to business, okay? Asha is connected to Zoroastrianism, which is something that I'm not, I remember learning about it very briefly in school, okay? Interestingly enough, in history class. I'm not super familiar with what it is. I do know that it's connected to the ancient lands of Iran, and I'm actually hearing with that there's a lot of, it's controversial in terms of how it has been interpreted, but we're focusing here on the word, and she actually wants me to go back. I'm going to go on the computer for a second here to read an excerpt that I found, because Asha is the cosmological concept of order, of truth, of righteousness, of justice, okay? I'm just going to check here really, really quickly what I had read here. It's interesting because the name Ashe has multiple meanings. These are from various sources like nameberrydictionary.com, Bidbu, if I'm saying that correctly, because it's kind of far away. Okay. The name Ashe, multiple meanings across different cultures and languages. In Sanskrit, it means hope or desire, symbolizing aspiration and positivity. In Swahili, it means life, reflecting vitality and existence. In Zoroastrianism, Ashe is a concept representing the cosmic principle of order, justice, righteousness, and truth. The name also has Arabic roots where it can mean alive or life. Overall, the name Ashe is associated with positive connotations such as hope, life, and truth. The trifecta is what she's saying to me. So I'm just going to write down, hold on, hope, life, truth. And I apologize if the screen is shaking a little bit because this is on the table right now. Okay. This particular energy, there's a twofold message that wants to come through here. It has to do with the principles, the consciousness of Lemuria and Atlantis in relation to what we are currently experiencing here on Earth. The quote-unquote foreshadowing of that, right? And when she says this, she's using terms here in terms of, that doesn't mean, it's really difficult to describe this. She's using these terms and putting them in quotation marks, just like she was talking about the lineage and timeline of Lemuria that quote-unquote survived, because we're looking at it from a three-dimensional perspective is only partially what that means in terms of those words and what they mean, okay? So the same thing goes for the foreshadowing, okay? The lessons learned. And what's interesting is that in this consciousness, thought form, this ethereal realm, this realm of Lemuria that survived, there are lessons that have been learned. But without getting too nebulous with all of this, we also have to remember that time, beyond how we understand it linearly, like in the linear form here on Earth, when we start to see it from an expanded viewpoint, there are multiple timelines that have come to fruition. Okay. And I'm going to leave it there because this is a whole other thing to get into and a topic for discussion. What she wants to bring in without a sense of fear here or this kind of warning, okay? It's more of a sense of, this is going to resonate for you if it's going to resonate for you. This is a sense of urgency, of heeding the call, okay? The urgency that comes with, I know I'm here to do something, and now it's time to get down to business. And her energy is very, interestingly enough, even though it feels very justice energy, it feels very like the justice card, like Lady Justice, but there's a softness to her as well. She's very connected to water, goes without saying. And specifically, one of the things that she did show me was her connection to a particular constellation. And the super void that's located in Eridanus, the river. And all she wants me to say on that is that there are concepts regarding super voids that are connected to quantum entanglement. And by that, she also is talking about parallel realities. But that's a whole other discussion for another time. And we don't want to get off topic. But this concept of parallel realities or timeline splitting, and you know what? I'm getting I'm getting that movie. Have I even seen that movie? I think I have, like a while ago. Sliding Doors. And for some of you, she's saying this might be a confirmation. For some of you, this is also a nudge to watch that movie because there might be something activating in you for that. But it's this idea that there are parallel realities that can be constantly at play. And on different timelines, parallel realities work out, and it kind of comes back to this idea of affirmation. So without getting too, because I realize, please leave a comment below if this is something that, you can relate to, okay? Or even something that you find it challenging to talk about, but yet there's something within you that there's sort of a knowing in terms of how this could be possible, but it's difficult to use words to explain this, right? Because of the constrictions of the 3D, okay? In terms of understanding things in terms of 3D reality, okay? Especially with this idea of like what you see is what you get, okay? So that's one way we can look at it. But anyway, the point is that we are co-creators of our timeline. And there are also timelines that we do not know about historically because the knowledge of those timelines have been kept from us. They've been kept secret from us. They have been kept in the dark. We cannot see them, okay? They're there, though. They exist. We just cannot see them, okay? So, having said that, this goes back to the power of our words and affirmation. For the word Ashe to come through, for that energy to come through, and Asha, okay? This is all connected to affirming the truth, affirming righteousness, order, and justice. This is all connected. Show me. Oh my God, now I'm hearing show me the money. What is that? Okay, we'll get to that in a second because it's all connected. It's about this idea of getting down to business. Okay? Show me the money. That's what it is. Okay? She wants me to bring through two animal energies, the seahorse and the hippopotamus. I heard her say river thud. And then I heard I saw hippopotamuses. And hippopotamus means river horse, right? When that's the etymology of that word coming from Greek. I heard the river horses, the herds that are coming, the herds that are awakening. And this is another reason why we need to now get down to business. And on that note, I'm going to close my notebook and we are going to get right into the cards and the rest of the messages that want to come through for here around getting down to business, okay? I'm also being asked and called to share the image of Eridanus with you, the actual constellation here. I'll get to the crystal that I'm working with in a second. Notice where it is. She's saying that this is significant because there may be certain energies that you are working with currently that are overlapping here, specifically Cetus. The myth of Eridanus is really interesting, and the meaning of the word Eridanus and how it contrasts. Oh, wow. How it contrasts with the word river. So Eridanus, in ancient Greek, from what we know, the meaning of that word actually means early burnt. And this is... Eridanus was a river god, is a river god. And the story is interesting because it's connected to Phaeton and it's connected to Helios and the chariot in the sky that carries the sun. And what she's showing me is that Eridanus and the river, because in ancient times, Ptolemy even referred to this constellation as just the river, okay? But the specific name that we have for it is significant here because she's showing me again the energy of light hitting water. I'm seeing the sun hitting water again. And this is an image that has been coming up so much to speak about the science of biophotons, light codes, hitting the earth and being absorbed by our DNA, water being the representation of the psyche and consciousness, and the absorption of light codes connected to the river horses. And what's interesting is that in that particular myth, the horses were responsible for carrying Phaeton really quickly up into the sky. As the story goes, I'm giving you very the short version here, but that's what made him burn and fall into the river. Okay, so there is a kind of messaging here, and we might get into this in another video or in another message that, like in another section of this video or message, I should say, in another video that wants to come through. There is this message of, really interesting, thinking that maybe we are not, okay, because I'm hearing here, I have to turn this off. I have this fan thing on, hold on. It's just, give me 2 seconds here, because even the flame on my candle is going bonkers right now, and the wax is melting in a way that it's never melted before. So we gotta pay attention here. So this is very much about, we think maybe we're being too big for our britches when we're not. This goes back to the idea of when we play small versus playing big. And again, I'm using these terms and this terminology in the most exalted way, in the most positively oriented way that I can, right? Because if you know you're here for a reason, then you're ready. And it's time to step into those. I'm hearing these boots are made for walking. But the funny thing is that the walking all over you is the walking all over the limiting beliefs. These boots are going to walk all over you. This is about being comfortable with the discomfort. This is about understanding that when we expand, I mean, have you seen what a caterpillar goes through to bust out of a chrysalis, right? It is exactly that analogy of not backing down just because something is challenging or difficult. She just keeps on saying, because you came here for a reason. And you may not know some of us know exactly what that reason is. And she says part of that is actually the trap of it, because sometimes when you know, it seems so big that you don't even know where to start. Just start. Just start with the one thing that you could do right now. Just start. Create a system, create a routine for yourself. Is it 5 minutes a day? 10 minutes a day? Talking about linear time here. Is it simply an intention? Is it an action like clearing out the old shit in your room to bring in the new energy? Is it saying no to somebody you know you need to say no to? She's just bringing in random messages. Is it deciding to cook yourself a very healthy dinner because enough already? Like you've been saying you're going to stop and you're not, and you know at this point you've done the conscious work around this. Okay. And on that note, I'm going to bring in the crystal that I'm working with, inviting you to tune in to the energy of this quartz point, this clear quartz, this master healer. I mean, we know, it's funny because I was, at some point, I'm like, these Lemurian energies are coming through. And then I'm thinking to myself, should I get my Lemurian point out? And she's like, nope. Because these are some of the ways that we also limit ourselves. Oh, if only I had that crystal already. Or, oh, maybe if only I had done this already. Or if only I had done this already. Or when I get to that point, I'll do that. These are all limitations that we are placing upon ourselves. Work with what you have right now available to you, even if it's something that you don't necessarily have access to right now. She's showing me the fact that I bring these crystals into these videos for you to tune into the energy and the frequency of these crystals. Because it is available to me, I share it with you. And through doing that, you're able to tune into the energy and the frequency of this crystal and the energy and frequency of this message and this reading. All right. I'm going to start by asking through the numerology guidance cards. I will also be asking through the energy oracle cards for these additional support messages to come through. I might pop some tarot, but she's showing me right now just to get to the oracle cards. Compassion as I split the deck, 99. What she's giving me with 99 is energy cycles closing out, okay? Domestic harmony, 46. She's giving me the 10 there with 4 and 6. That's the Wheel of Fortune. She's saying, where are you on that particular wheel? And also, this domestic harmony is associated with something perhaps that needs to change for you right now. The compassion that she's bringing through here with this particular card is the energy of self-compassion and differentiating between self-compassion and simply enabling yourself to continue doing something that you know is no longer good for you. Okay. I'm hearing making excuses. I'm hearing that the physical body, okay, it's very important that you are tending to the needs of your physical body and making that top priority right now. I'm hearing her say to hold the light, to hold the light. And even if you are going through certain, I'm hearing the word disturbances or discrepancies in terms of how you're functioning energetically, physically, this is all part of the process. This is all part of the clearing and the cleansing. I'm seeing a lot of like diamond light code energy with that, and I'm seeing those vortexes of light also penetrating the earth. So a lot of this has to do with solar flares, with the light codes that are coming in, the upgrades that are happening. Look at that. Rebirth is at the bottom of the deck, number 16. That's the tower energy, right? The number 7, the energy of going deeper. 7 being also a very sacred number and occulted number as well. I'm hearing Evdomurano in Greek, Evdomurano, 7th heaven. Okay, so this is sort of coming through as be aware, because I'm hearing be careful what you wish for, but it's not coming through. These are just phrases. She wants to bring the energy through here of thinking the grass is greener on the other side. And this goes back to the whole idea of when I get to that point, I'll be able to do X, Y, Z. When I do that, and holding off, this idea of holding off. Also debunking this idea of be careful what you wish for, like as being this kind of ominous thing. And how it makes people afraid. Just the simplest way that I can do it is it makes people not want to desire anything. And it comes from a fear-based place. The same way that the fear of There's a lot coming through here. Okay. This is like, okay, we're going to get to the cards in a second, but I just want to clarify what it is here because there's so many things coming through. This is the idea and the concept of not being satisfied or happy where you are now, but not allowing that to get you down. Like, that's the simplest way that I can put it. It's this energy of, there's a lot of fire under our asses here that wants to get lit. Okay, the really, really, really crucial thing here, if there's anything clear and simple that you can walk away with here from this message, it is, where are you making excuses for the things in your life that you know deep down you are not happy with? Where are you making excuses in your life for continuing to play small? Where are you making excuses in your life? Oh my God. Now I got Fox energy coming through here, like teasingly saying being a little bitch. Where and then there's also with that this lightning that comes with it. Like, where are we taking ourselves too seriously? And the paradox of getting down to business and not getting carried away actually lightens your energy. It doesn't make you more serious. It frees you of all the burdens of the things that are not in alignment with your highest and greatest good and truth. 22, master number 22, intuition. All these numbers, by the way, are confirmation for you if you've been seeing them as well. 55, adventure. I mean, need I say more? Okay, really, really simply, because this is a message and a synchronicity that has been coming through in other readings and with people in my life and around here. Interesting, because this also adds up to 77. And we had 16 there, which is a 7 as well. So 16, 7, 77, 55, 22, 4, and 10. That Wheel of Fortune energy again coming through as well. So following your intuition in terms of what fires up a sense of adventure in you. And there's a lot of the child that is within energy, the child that is you, the child that is us energy coming through with this combination. Another synchronicity. And as interestingly enough, we are moving astrologically from Cancer into Leo season. And Leo is very much a time too that's connected to the inner child. I'm seeing the Sun card now. That connection to this bright, shining energy, the kid that is not limiting themselves, that doesn't understand what limiting beliefs are and how simple it is for us to simply fall back into a childlike wonder. So another question here is, what gave you a sense of adventure when you were a kid? So this could mean we're doing, one of the things here could mean doing the inner child work, if that resonates with you. It's also about following your joie de vivre, like that's as simple as I can say, this sacral chakra energy with this intuition, this orange energy coming through, following your creativity, following your creative flow, whatever that is for you. Following your sense of adventure. This is interesting because what's coming through here, I'm getting more Alta Major chakra energy with this because it's like a tealy turquoise. I know it is connected to the throat as well. And the Alta Major can have to do with, I'm hearing past life lessons, and I'm also hearing past life adventures. Isn't that interesting? So for some of us, this might resonate with that too, okay? All of those numbers, again, really, really significant. The double 5 here, the 55, this is an energy of movement and change. Movement and change, okay? And also lightening up. We've got patience in reverse and the temple path in reverse. Okay, so this whole impatience, what she's saying to me, impatience is a lack of being in the present moment. And I'm getting a reference now to The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. First chakra, Archangel Michael. This is the energy in reverse. This is the energy of, again, not being grounded. And when we're not grounded, we're not present. This is a big one. This is a really big one. And this goes back to her earlier message of getting down to business and embodiment. What is all this spiritual work good for if we're not using it here? What is all this spiritual work good for if we're not able to embody it? That's what this temple path in reverse is all about. It's about grounding and bringing down to earth. Again, she's using these phrases, right? Bringing down to earth the spiritual energy, the light codes. It's about embodying the practices. And I'm getting with that the energy of Jesus, the energy of Jesus Christ, the embodiment of that spiritual energy. And one example of that being Jesus. But it's also in the guy that works at your local grocery store who's like a light beam of beauty and, love. This doesn't have to be super, super complicated. It doesn't have to be super, super complicated. But the logical mind can look at that. I split the deck again. Impatience is there. Like this is a big thing. Okay. In terms of feeling, thinking too much about the future or being swamped up in the past. Okay. Messages, she's showing me this card. Yeah. I'm also getting this. Yeah. I'm hearing love messages, and this is what came out. Look at that. 444. More of these numbers coming in for confirmation. Okay. Fours. Because we had the 22 come out with that. Okay. And she's showing me, yeah. 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron in this deck. It's a 40, which is another 4. Grounding the light. That's what I'm hearing with that. This energy of the 6th chakra, this energy of the third eye, grounding it. Her energy being very much of the high priestess. This is one thing with the high priestess that does not get talked about and discussed enough. And that is the grounding that is required in the high priestess. Without grounding any of her insights, her intuition, right? And I love that in this deck, intuition is number 22 because that reduces to a 4. And this is like that master builder energy. What do you do when you build? What are you using when you build? It's connected to having a vision, but then also grounding that vision in this reality. And there is absolutely nothing poo-poo or crappy about that. That's a falsehood of certain. She's showing me them as spiritual consciousnesses that kind of go off the rails, where we kind of miss the meaning or we get lost in translation. When we begin on a very spiritual path and we're very connected to the etheric realm, to the energy, to consciousness in general, and we're kind of up in these energy centers, right? This is where we use these things as a form of escape. I'm getting the devil card coming through with that. Isn't that interesting? So what she's showing me with that is that that's a form of, I'm hearing the word entanglement, imprisonment. Because then it's just like using any other thing. Sometimes it could even come up as a way that, like, a form of addiction. It's like using any other thing to just escape or keep yourself disconnected. A big one here that may be difficult for some of us to hear is when we feel so at odds with Earth and so at odds with this reality, we want nothing to do with it. And so we grapple with that constantly instead of finding a way to come to peace with it. And if that's a big struggle of yours, then it's there for a reason. And I'm hearing her say again, it's there to put fire under your ass. Okay. We're not going to pop any tarot. She wants me to close out with this. So, happy family and woman holding a heart. Messages of love is simply what I hear with this, okay? This reminds me so much of the Ten of Cups when I see it. So I'm also hearing with that, funny enough, even though often in the tarot we associate the Nine of Cups with wish fulfillment, it's actually the 10. It's actually about, and she's going back to the whole be careful what you wish for bullshit. So this is this idea of the things that you wish and you hope for. And this goes back to Ashe, the meaning, Ashe, of hope, the thing you desire, the things that you want in your heart, okay? With this woman holding a heart, like she's literally showing this to me as the things that you cherish, the things that you want, the things that you're passionate about, the things that bring you a sense of adventure, the things that bring you to life again with this rebirth. Interesting how this combination is very indigo-like with red. And again, this is a combination of the root chakra, grounding, the vision, the third eye, the energy of the third eye, the sixth chakra. And that's exactly what Archangel Metatron is showing in this image. It coming out in reverse here is a clear message of grounding down these energies. How are we holding those hopes, those dreams, those wishes? They're there for a reason. They exist for a reason. The same way that all the feelings, all the feedback that we experience here in this incarnation exists for a reason. The 4444, because we had 40 at the bottom of the deck here, okay? This is all, funny enough, that all reduces to a 16, right? Which is this energy of rebirth, and that's what she's redirecting me at. So the herds that she was mentioning earlier, the herds of river horses coming in droves and awakening, this is not just the energy of possibly new souls actually being birthed here and an energy shifting. She's showing me it's actually not that. This is the focus of our own rebirth, of our own, of souls awakening, but also, in a sense, reawakening. So if you have had, this is interesting. I came across something recently about this, about like a second spiritual awakening. Who said that? There was some account, something to do with dragons. Again, I think her name was Madalena. Beautiful name. Okay. And quite in keeping with some of the energy that's coming through for this particular reading, as I hold up this woman with the heart again, okay, and the happy family, okay. This idea of the second spiritual awakening being the doing now here on Earth. It's not about the astral traveling to other dimensions. It's not about the meditation for hours upon hours, where you're just, constantly in this state of like more information, more information, more information, more information. It's not an over-reliance on external confirmations, okay? And when I mean that, I really mean an over-reliance, because confirmations, actually, she wants me to correct that, because confirmations are they're important. What she's showing me is the over-reliance on someone else making the decision for you, whether it's through a reader, a channeler, somebody you consult with in a session, somebody reading cards for you, that type of a thing, okay? When you're not checking in with yourself to make those decisions, when you're looking outwardly for someone to make those decisions for you. The second awakening, this next spiritual awakening, for those of you watching this, has to do with the actual embodiment. It has to do with getting your hands dirty. That's what she's saying. Like, I'm seeing an image of somebody with their hands in the dirt, planting, sowing seeds, getting the physical work done, taking the actionable steps in this physical reality to fulfill the purpose of the journey. And on that note, I'm going to end this message. Thank you to the energies of this beautiful High Priestess. Ashe-Asha is the energy that I keep on hearing, the words I keep on hearing with her. I thank you for spending and sharing your time and your energy with us in this portal of a video. Please leave any comments, any confirmations here below, any insights that you might have. Sharing is caring always. That's also a way, in a sense, that you are putting certain things into actual practice in the physical reality, funny enough, is what she's showing me. Because a lot of times we might want to say something and we don't, and then we kind of stop ourselves from actually saying it, when in fact, funny enough, she's bringing me back to the throat chakra with that, and this adventure energy, where the communication, the 5-5 there, the energy of Mercury and communication, is actually putting it goes back to the words being affirmations, and what we're actually saying and putting out there and expressing. It makes a difference. It does. If you have any insights on this, any insights on some of the words, the practices, whatever's pinging for you in this video, please leave them down below. Also a reminder, because I keep on forgetting to do this, I am offering one-on-one sessions now. If you're interested, simply email me at the email address in the description box. We can discuss perhaps what you're interested and what I offer. And on that note, I'm sending you so much love wherever you are here on beautiful Mama Gaia in this incarnation, in all directions of time and space, in love and liberation, always.